Welcome to the Default Profitable Podcast. You're listening to the next episode, and today we're going to focus on what it takes to start a father-son business. We'll be talking about some successes, some failures, and some stories from a real business owner. I'm your host, Matt Nettleton, and today my guest is Ted Brown. Ted, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Hey, listen, we were referred to each other by a mutual friend, and we don't really know each other. So why don't you take 2 or 3 minutes, introduce yourself and then your company to myself and people who are listening.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm Ted Brown. I'm a lifelong Hoosier, born and raised down in the Center Grove School District. Moved out to the east side right after graduating from Ball State. Moved out to Greenfield and then ended up moving back over to New Palestine. But definitely loving the east side of Indianapolis and can't imagine myself going anywhere else. Spent the last 10 years in the construction management industry. I did travel around some, so don't get me wrong. I have lived in other states, but just temporarily, but have always permanently resided here in Indianapolis. Dad and I started our company, Safeguard Solutions, a year and 3 months ago. Dad and I have always had the aspirations to start our own company together. And finally, kind of me and my brother getting out of college and getting off to bigger and better things and, kind of found the right timing, right, to finally start our own company. So we pulled the trigger on it. We've had very, very nice success here in the last year. Always have those working with family, right? Not always the easiest thing to do. So we've had our hurdles, but it's been very successful, and we're building something really good here.
So the name of your company is?
Safeguard Solutions.
And what do you guys actually do?
Yeah, so we are a perimeter security company. Right now, we're doing a lot of fence and gate work. But our motto, our slogan is advancing perimeter security solutions to protect our nation's critical infrastructure. So we're starting to focus more on the advanced perimeter security solutions for more of the critical infrastructure, power plants, gas safety, those types of industries, because we're seeing, the push from the southern border, right? Immigration, illegal immigration taking a hard push here in our country. The legal way is always the right way, right? But there's a big fear on perimeter security, and we're trying to find the best solutions that fit our customers' needs.
All right. So for 10 years, you're working construction for other people, probably making good, steady money. There's not like construction's ever going away, so it's not like you're worried about losing your job. Why in the world did you decide to start a business? What was it that attracted you to that?
Yeah, absolutely. It was the freedom, the freedom to go out and kind of start our own venture, right? And the hopeful ramifications at some point down the line that we can actually, be able to do things on our own time and not have to work for, the man, right? Been fortunate to work for a lot of really good companies. So, I've interviewed for a ton of companies and definitely explored around. So we were able to, kind of always have this ambition of wanting to start our own venture. So we've been able to grab, individual small things that we like from all these different companies and say, all right, let's, now's the time. Let's go implement that into one group that's going to be around for a long time. I'd say the biggest push to really start a company now is just, the main focus on quality, right? I mean, I was taught from construction as well. There's 3 things, right? You have the cost, you have the schedule, and you have the quality. And as a general contractor, it was always, all right, pick 2, right? You have either low cost and a fast schedule. Well, then your quality is going to, not turn out the best. Or, you want high quality at a fast schedule. Well, that's going to cost a lot of money. But for our company, let's put the emphasis back on quality and make sure that quality is always at the forefront of our customers' minds and focus on quality and produce a good quality end product.
Yeah. So as I listen to you, I know business owners typically fall into one of 2 groups when they start their business. One group is they're passionate about the product or service. And the other group is they're over there and they sit back and they see an economic opportunity that they want to jump at. Mm-hmm. If you had to pick between those 2 ends of the spectrum, which one would you pick? A passion for construction or an economic opportunity?
I would say a passion for construction, honestly. I mean, the economic reward is of course very nice in the construction industry if you do it the right way and you have the right clientele. But the passion for the construction industry, I believe, is at the forefront. The construction industry has such an advancement coming our way. Then all the generational differences, right? The younger generations are coming up, and we're anticipating a 20-year age gap here in the near future when, the older folk, right, start retiring, and these new generations start coming into the industry, and it's just a completely different work ethic. Well, with that allows, multiple different ways for the advancement of technology throughout the industry. So I actually started my own. The first company I started, right? So Safeguard Solutions is not technically the first company. I did have a company, Midstate Drone Services. So I started Midstate Drone Services back in 2021, right after I got back into Indiana from traveling on the road building food processing plants. Started my own drone company, and our emphasis wasn't on pretty pictures, right? The residential taking pictures, the commercial side. It was focused more on creating high accuracy 2D and 3D mapping and modeling, and doing a lot of really cool autonomous drone photography to provide as much data collection as possible, and utilizing that spectrum of technology for what it's worth in the construction trades. Done a lot of really cool exterior facade renovations for punch list, saving time, saving money from having to send people up on scaffolds and, boom lifts to inspect a facade. Well, let's do it, using technology where we can sit behind a desk in a much more safer fashion. And I think we're going to see a lot bigger push on that as well through the perimeter security realm, especially as you dive more into the AI technology and that side of things. So, it's kind of the passion for where the construction industry is heading that has me spearheaded and started this company.
All right. So between the drone company and the Safeguard Solutions, what are some of the things you've learned that if you had known at the beginning, you'd have succeeded a little bit more quickly?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely from the drone perspective, the biggest thing I learned quick was if you don't have a portfolio, right, it's hard to gain that trust. It's hard for you to go out and, advertise these drone services and say, all right, this is what the drone's capable of, without having that portfolio to back you up that says, all right, the drone's capable of doing this, and here's, my real world examples of what I have done with this drone.
Right.
Which is more of the reason why I kind of, after I started the company, I went at it for a handful of months, and then ended up going to work for a construction company here locally as a project manager in a trade-off that I could build my portfolio using their projects. So I could start, a drone program and a technology program for that construction company, but at the same time, I can start building my own portfolio to be able to, one day get back out there. And then this opportunity kind of came up. And one of the biggest things I learned on this side now, being more of a service based, having crews in the field installing fence or, pouring concrete pads, whatever our customers require, is, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? As a new company, yeah, Dad is a fantastic salesman. He has the sales side down. He's been in the industry for over 24 years. I'm actually a third generation fence guy now. Grandpa was the first. He was in the industry for 35 years. Dad, another 24 to date. And then myself just got introduced to it. So, we got a long line in this industry. So that the name Ted Brown has transpired for quite a long time. When you're starting out, you put all your eggs in one basket with a full-time crew, and these are our guys. Well, that doesn't always pan out. And we had our venture, we had our headaches with our first crew, but we definitely overcame that challenge.
All right. And so you start the drone company, you realize you need something of a portfolio. You go back out, you take a job with a local company. Did they know that you were building your portfolio when they hired you?
Yeah. I had a really good partnership with these guys.
Okay. And they were okay with that?
Yeah.
They were probably helpful.
They were. Yeah. They pushed it, and they pushed the technology piece of it. And it was, we had some really cool opportunities to use the interior 3D scanning cameras on top of hard hats and be able to walk the interior buildings while using a drone from the outside to be able to do an interior, exterior 3D model and 3D rendering of some of the projects we were working on. And then, start the whole time lapse process and use it to, use it to the company's advantage at the same time to impress clients and, start the drone and interior technology portion of their business, right? While also helping me do this side of things. So it was a mutual understanding coming into the opportunity that, one day I was going to get back out there and start running my own project, but I was, fortunate to be able to take a role to be beneficial on both ends.
Yep. Yeah, it is surprising how often there are employers who, when they find out you want to start your own thing, they're actually willing to jump in the boat and help you.
Oh, agreed. Yeah, 100%. And, it kind of came out as a surprise to the last company when I did leave and say, hey, I'm starting a perimeter security company with Dad. And, the drone thing's just would love to get back around to it in the future, right? And start implementing that more into perimeter security as the industry continues to grow and evolve. They're like, hey, if you ever need $1 million in financing, you just come back and I'll give you whatever you want to help, build your business. So, it's always great to have that support around you and, find those smaller niche, close knit companies that help you grow as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you have one of your buddies who comes to you and says, hey, I'm working at a construction company, I'm thinking about starting my own gig, how do you respond to that? What do you ask them? What do you tell them?
Yeah, get ready for a lot of sleepless nights. The sun only shines so many hours of the day, and you got to be out there working when the sun's shining. That's the hardest part, especially from the get-go. We've been fortunate because it's been both Dad and I, right? We've had a great partnership to be able to work long hours and get this company up and going. But it's definitely shown me as to why a lot of people don't start their own companies anymore, from all the paperwork perspective of how everything's ran anymore to reading all the contracts, and everyone has such tight deadlines, especially in the construction trades, and that they want you to jump at every whistle or every snap. Right. And, that was definitely a big learning curve for us as well. We've been on the ball, and we've been a strictly word of mouth company that's been able to grow just solely based on client relationships and word of mouth. But, the more you get out there in that bid world, right, and you're chasing after these bid projects, well, that comes with a whole slew and a whole mound of paperwork you have to continue to do as well. So it's the amount of hours it's going to take to get one up and going.
Yeah, I think Stephanie Daly, early on in these podcasts, she just said, if you're going to start your own business, you have to be comfortable waking up at 3 a.m. and thinking about it.
Yes, 100%. And, or like I tell everybody too, from the hours of 5:30 to 8:30 at night, those are my hours. I'm with the wife and the kids during those hours at night. But after 8:30, back on the computer, back working again, trying to get ready for the next day.
Yeah, it does take some time. So if 2024, Ted, could sit down next to 2021, Ted, before you started the drone business and say, hey, listen, everything turns out all right, you'll be fine, but here's where you should focus first. What do you tell yourself to focus on first?
Agreed. It wouldn't be to go after the big egg all at once. It's to start building that reputation and start chasing after the right clientele at the same time. Trying not to offer too many services at once, but finding what you're good at. And we learned that with Safeguard Solutions, because we came in and we're like, all right, we have a million things we want to tackle as a new business. And Dad and I have, there's tons of dreams and tons of aspirations on where we believe that this industry is going. But tell myself back then is, narrow it down, right? And narrow down on what you're good at and find your bread and butter and stick to it and generate that cash flow, because that's what we learned. We didn't anticipate to be a fence and gate contractor to the extent that we're a fence and gate contractor now, but it's what the clients wanted. It's what we're good at. It's our bread and butter for our cash flow. And, one day here, hopefully sooner than later, we're going to be able to start venturing into all these different objectives we had. But from the get-go, it's, follow what you're good at, find that bread and butter, find what your clients want, and you're able to repeat your business with, and focus on that first. Don't consistently try to go find the next big targeted objective right off the bat.
You said follow your bread and butter and follow what you're good at, but then you also pointed out that you didn't really think you'd be a gate and fence contractor like you are. So how much of a business plan did you start with?
Oh, we started with from an overall objective from a pretty big business plan. We started writing business plans, Dad and I, together back in 2013. I think I still
Okay.
have the business plans from 10 years ago, and it was always a fence contractor. Up until here in the last couple of years, when we want to change our focus to more of the higher end specialty trade contracting world,
Right.
because there's a lot more out there that a lot of these guys don't chase after and don't touch, but the industry is going to keep evolving into something bigger and better, down the road. And we want to be the forefront and the front runner on that. But Dad's clients, the people Dad's worked with in the past, and the relationships and the people he knows in the industry are really, really good fence, all appeal to the fence industry.
So you had a big business plan.
Mm-hmm.
Which was more valuable to you, the process of planning or the plan it produced?
The plan it produced. Yeah, the plan it produced for sure. Because one thing kept spearheading after another, right? And we were able to start building our resume and our backlog and start understanding like, hey, all right, so now we have this unique fence project. Well, I got guys out, yesterday pouring concrete curbs for one of these fence projects. So it's, now that we're integrating our fence in, now we're starting to pick up additional scopes on top of that to start feeding into our fence scopes.
Yeah. So having that plan in place allowed you to just kind of make logical extensions to what you offer.
Exactly. Yes.
All right. Okay. So if there were any advice that you would give somebody who's a new business owner or an aspiring business owner, and any tips or any tricks that you'd pass on right now?
Yeah. There's too many to count, right?
Right.
There's tons of learning from day in and day out, but it's, continue to try to find that work-life balance, right? I know it's preached from so many ends, but it's so easy to get wrapped up every single day in a new business, right? It's so easy to make the business the forefront of your mind all day, every day. And you got to be able to step back and take time for yourself and take time for your family at the same time, and make sure that you don't lose that foothold with everybody around you, because that's one thing that we've prioritized as well with us and, our employees now is to make sure that you don't miss a kid's baseball game or you don't miss soccer practice. You're there for everything. So that's definitely the number one priority. And that took some time for us to adjust to, right? And especially right off the bat when everything seems like it's due tomorrow morning and there's a million things to try to check off that list every single night. And like we talked about too, there's only so many hours that the sun shines in a day, and if you're not working, you're not making money, right? So
right.
So you save all the big headache stuff, the paperwork stuff, the cash flow, all that for nights and weekends and early mornings. But so that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think it's easy to get consumed by a business and miss your kids.
Agreed. Yeah, it very easily.
And as a father of a 24-year-old and a 25-year-old and a 17-year-old, you only get one whack at that. So
that's right.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I think that's a good spot to wrap up. I mean, that's a quick 20 minutes. So there are lots of good lessons in there. Do the basics, realize what your bread and butter is, be willing to add to your scope, focus on where the market leads you. I mean, it's all the basics of running a sound business, and it's cool that you get to do it with your dad.
Yeah, absolutely. We enjoy every day of it. That's for sure.
Maybe not every minute of it, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's it. But we agreed. We're father and son first, that before business. So every day comes to a conclusion. So we'll take it.
At some point, every fight ends.
That's it.
All right. Well, hey, for people listening, there's 3 ways you can help the podcast. You can subscribe, you can leave a review, or you can forward this episode or any other one you find interesting to somebody you like. If you're interested in learning more about Ted and his company, you can go to the show notes at defaultprofitable.com. Ted, thanks for being a great guest.
Yep. Thank you so much, Matt. Thank you for having me.
No problem. And for everybody listening, we'll be back next week with another episode of Default Profitable. Until then, keep working, stay positive, and stay profitable.